Good morning, this is Penny Wild the Black Pen. Today I cover a very sensitive topic and I've been wanting to make this video for a couple of months now, and I've had to hold myself back because, like I said, it's a sensitive topic and I know a lot of people get touched. I know a lot of people would like to cancel me. I'm lucky that I don't work for some big company that you guys can tag, and I decided to kind of pull back from doing TV work. Because I don't want to be limited and censored by brands about some of my thoughts that are deemed controversial. I work for myself, luckily, and I try to keep my investments secret so that people don't attack some of the companies and businesses that I invest in personally. I believe that being gay is a mental illness. I believe that it is a mental disability. I know this is not clickbait and this is not me trying to sound cool or trying to upset certain people. Um, yes, I guess I'll have to say the classic line of, I have gay friends. I have a lot of gay friends that I love very much, that I respect highly, that I admire, and that are really, really good people to me and to other people in the world. I've made a video before in the past about the perfect human, or the idea of a perfect human, and the fact that the people that have created the systems that we live in today have created this imaginary human being who is a white man or a white woman, probably blonde, probably has blue eyes, probably American, that we're all supposed to aspire to. This perfect human has got um, great results in matric, they've got a great degree, they've got a great job, or they run a great business. They're well off, they live in the suburbs, they live in a beautiful house, they drive a nice car, they have amazing kids, they go to church, they donate to charities, and they basically loved throughout society and they are politically correct. And that's what we're all supposed to aspire to from birth because the systems have created this ideology into our minds. When we go to white school and we speak English and we try to speak good English, and we also learn to praat goeie Afrikaans, it's because we're aspiring to these perfect human dynamics that have been built for us. I'd like to think that everyone who is challenging these notions, the feminist movement, people that are trying to fight for inclusivity from a race perspective, people that are trying to get more alternative languages, indigenous languages, funa ukufunda ngesiZulu, for example, those people are trying to touch at this perfect human dynamic to add various layers either to the perfect human or to try and create alternative versions of the perfect human so that you can say, look, I know I am not a blonde, blue-eyed white man who is a CEO of a big multinational. However, I am a big-boned black lesbian woman um, who's maybe transgender, who is running a big multinational. So we are creating these new versions of the perfect human to try and make sure that people are more inclusive and that we are more understanding of the differences that we have. Some companies believe in funny words such as diversity, which I think is a pile of nonsense because normally to build a great company, you need to have one brand. And it doesn't matter if you're bringing a black person or a white person or an Indian person or a woman or a gay. The bottom line is that most successful businesses have one brand. And all the people that you bring in there are probably going to aspire to become that brand. What that means is that you can hire a black chick to work for your investment firm. But she's probably going to have to learn how to swear. She's probably going to be drinking with the boys. She's probably going to, be fine with certain traits of misogyny. She might take cocaine because that's the culture and that's what's helped that investment firm make a lot of money because of that psychological aspect of the type of person dynamic that they're trying to create or they're trying to attract to their business. So that's the perfect human dynamic, and I think it's very dangerous. And what I said in my last video was the further away from this perfect human dynamic you are, or the more you try to work towards the perfect human dynamic and you fail. It means you're failing at school, it means maybe you're gay, it means maybe you're black. It starts affecting your mental health. You feel like a failure, you end up getting depressed. The whole of society feels like there's something wrong with you, etc., etc. And it probably leads to suicide. I could not become what you guys wanted me to be. I have thus failed and I thus have low self-confidence. I hate myself. I want my life to end. That's the perfect human. In the same breath, there's a certain biological way that human beings should behave. And this is where my video, or what I wanted to talk about, actually really starts. I was born a boy, I was born a man. That means I have a penis, I have testicles, I have sperm, and I'm meant to go and find one or more female mates that I will then fertilize, who will then have my children. And we can thus keep the human race going. A lot of people that are homophobic obviously have the biggest issue with gay people because they're like, yeah, well, if everyone was gay, that would mean that the human race would cease to exist. Therefore, being gay is wrong. And the truth is, they're correct. Biologically, a man and a woman are meant to meet and mate and make children so that we can keep going. In the same breath, some people would argue that certain races are not meant to breed together because you then mess up a pure breed race. You're supposed to be with blacks if you're black. You're supposed to be with whites if you're white. But obviously, we've seen with colonization, slavery, and even with mutual love, where people have given birth to colored children who are beautiful, who are smart, who are intelligent. Trevor Noah comes to mind, Drake comes to mind, and a whole host of other mixed-raced kids. I think Mariah Carey, Alicia Keys as well. So biologically, in my opinion as well, being gay is wrong. It is not who you were meant to be. It is not who we were designed to be. It's not who we are. So then we have to ask, why are people gay? I myself, as a young boy, when I was very young, started experimenting. I think I've kissed a boy before, and as I grew older, I worried about that. I was like, is it because there were no girls around? Is it because maybe I was supposed to be gay and maybe I just fought it? When you watch the movie Ex Machina, at some point when they're speaking about this robot that has been built with artificial intelligence, the main lead, the protagonist, says, you taught this lady to be heterosexual. And the guy who invented this robot says, who taught you to be heterosexual? You think you were born just being a heterosexual? Someone taught you. So you find yourself questioning, was I actually really designed to be straight? Or have I been conditioned to do that? If I prefer spending a lot of time with men and guys and being around testosterone, whether I'm playing rugby or going for drinks with the gents, and then I prefer being with one woman who is my romantic partner, is there a chance that my energy prefers male energy more than female energy? And the only reason I spend time with female energy is because I'm trying to mate or I'm trying to have sex or whatever women come with. But I don't want to be with a big chunk of women because I prefer being with men. At which point do you then draw the line and say, look, I will only have sex with the woman, I will chat with the gents, or I would like to sleep with the gents. I would like to sleep with the gents and then only have chats with the woman, for example. And this is where some of these discussions are meant to be. We're not having these discussions. I used to be homophobic growing up. Then I got to Rhodes University. In Grahamstown. And obviously their drama department and their arts departments basically are quite popular. Attracts a lot of gay kids. And Rhodes and Grahamstown is a very liberal place because of the Grahamstown Arts Festival. And just because it's a small town that allows for liberal thought. So I met a lot of gay kids there. And it made me, again, question and ask a lot of questions about myself. Why am I not gay? Why do I want to be with females? Is it because I've been conditioned? Is there something wrong with me? I used to feel like gay people should be taken to some island and probably all killed because there's a malfunction. There's a malfunction somewhere. We put down dogs that have rabies. We put down dogs that are killing everyone. We put down everything that we believe is not behaving the way it should. So why not do the same with gay people? I met a really great gent who was in the choir with me, Mike Brown. He reminded me a lot of Parker Haynes. Those of you that know Parker from his team. A man's man, deep voice, very macho, very masculine. And then you find out later that this guy is actually attracted to other men and is homosexual, and it messes with your whole mind. Because before that, I hadn't been exposed much to gay guys, and my whole notion of gayness was femininity, which is another huge confusion that people have. You don't have to be feminine to be gay. Just because you're gay doesn't mean you're feminine. A lot of us see a lot of feminine men out there, which means they probably have high estrogen levels. They soft, they like soft things, they smell nice, feminine, speak soft, whatever the case may be, doesn't necessarily mean they're attracted to another man. In the same breath, just because I have a nice macho voice, I lift weights, I love guns, doesn't necessarily mean I might not be attracted to a man. So that's one of the dynamics, one of the things we're not speaking about, the difference between homosexuality and being feminine or masculine. So I met a lot of these masculine guys who were gay at Rhodes, and it changed my whole mindset. I became friends with a lot of these guys, not because I was trying to befriend gay people, but because they were really cool people. Sang in the choir, we played rugby together, we had the same interests, we did business together, and you realize you realize these are normal human beings. They just happen to like things that maybe I'm not into. And it's been a journey from there of trying to find the answers to this homosexual dynamic. My sister herself went through, I'm not going to call it a phase. She dated a female, she had a girlfriend. And my mom was confused for the longest time and she didn't understand. And I luckily was very understanding and I got to know her girlfriend, brilliant young lady. My sister's dating a guy now, but she dated a girl. I don't want to say she went through a phase, and even at that time, I asked my sister, do you think you're lesbian? Obviously, by technicality, you're lesbian because you're dating a girl, but do you think you are generally attracted to girls? Or do you think you're attracted to this girl? Which would mean that you're probably hetero, but then you found someone who just happens to not be a man that you're attracted to. I remember when I was in my third year at Rhodes, I was chilling at the dining hall at Jan Smuts Hall, and some guy spoke about a chick, some white girl who'd started dating some black guy. And one of the guys was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that girl was into black dudes. And my initial response was, why do you think she's into black dudes? Just because she's dated one black guy. She's probably only dated white guys. She might only date white guys into the future. But because of this one black guy, it means all of a sudden she's attracted to black dudes. Why can't she just be attracted to that dude who happens to be black? So I've found myself wondering, are some of these people really homosexual gay, or are they straight and hetero and they just happen to be attracted to someone who happens to be of the same sex, which obviously complicates the stuff even further. So time went on, obviously, and I think a few years ago I got to this realization that, look, part of it, let me actually start by speaking about myself. I've been called controversial for many years. I swim against the grain. I've lost some really good friends because they think that I'm always trying to be different and alternative and I'm always trying to rock the boat, which for the longest time upset me because I felt like I was misunderstood. And I didn't understand how I could upset you by being myself. When I criticize church, when I criticize culture, when I criticize the African National Congress, when I have an issue with how black people behave, in your brain you think, oh my gosh, he's trying to sound woke, he's trying to be intelligent, he's being controversial, he's looking for reactions, don't mind him. He's just trying to get reactions out of people. And I was like, no, these are actually real questions because I'd like to know, I'm trying to understand. And I lost good friends because they didn't understand me. Today I've got 6 children from 4 mothers. I've had a lot of people be very upset with that. You're getting girls pregnant, you're not marrying them. Who do you think you are? You're upsetting people. Why not just settle down? I'm living my life in the best way I know how. I love my children. I care very much about my children's mothers. So there's been no malice. And I didn't lie to them. I didn't say, look, if you give me a child, I will do this for you. I've never lied. I've been very open and honest about my life and where I stand. And it's upset a lot of people. And I've had to learn that I'm different. A couple of years ago, 2017, I think, I decided that I want to be king of the Nguni people, the 27, 28 million Nguni people in South Africa. I was attacked by a whole host of people. 2 years ago, I think, I decided that I want to be God. I don't want to be Jesus. I don't want to be Muhammad. I don't want to be Buddha. I don't want to be a prophet. I don't want to say God sent me to come give you a message. I decided that I want to be God. I want to be the guy who sends who comes up with the messages. If God says this is what's right and this is what's wrong, I want to be that guy. If God says this is the beginning of life and this is the end of life, I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that when you pray at night, you say, I hope Penwell blesses me. I hope I'm living according to Penwell's guides. And I wrote a book, Penwellism Principles, which is my Bible and my life guide. And I'm building my religion around myself. It's a cult. ooh, cult, people are going to murder themselves. No, you're trying to have this place where you sleep with a lot of women and they worship. No, I'd just like to be God. I'd like to worship me. And I'd like other people who believe in what I believe in and who believe in me to worship me. So then, obviously, and even to this day, I get chastised and crucified, excuse the pun, by everyone out there for the things I've said. And I found it so ironic and interesting because Kanye West is obviously going through the same thing where he says certain things about himself. He said at some point that he's a god. He made a song, I Am a God, which upset a lot of people. Today he's speaking about Jesus as king, but that's Kanye. And that was Kanye trying to find himself and trying to be him and find answers to his life and his existence. Then you look at the Jesus character. Jesus is the most popular, the most well-documented rebel in history. Rebel. This guy went around telling people, my mom is a virgin. He went around telling people, I'm God's son. He went around disputing what leaders, pastors, or whatever, guys in temples were standing for. He was a rebel and he went around preaching love and peace and love thy neighbor and healing people. Like the shepherd Bushiri, he went around touching people and healing them. And for upsetting the people of the day, he was crucified and nailed on a cross. Apparently, he resurrected later. That's stories. Those are stories. Today, we've got Shepherd Bushiri. We've got Kanye West. We've got all these people who are deemed crazy, who are deemed scam artists, con artists, who are lying to people and misleading people, and who claim that they've got healing powers and prophesying powers, which apparently are not real. But this Jesus character that they all look up to, he's real. He's right. The story in the Bible is correct. So when Penwell says that he's God and he writes Penwellism principles as his Bible, I think he's kind of lost his mind. So I've been called many names, controversial, probably not mentally okay, suffer from delusions of grandeur, I have a God complex, I'm schizophrenic, multiple personality disorder, all these negative psychological terms. And I used to get upset about them. And at some point I stopped and I went and I looked up these definitions. And I realized, you know what? They are actually right. I fit these definitions. But the next thing I said was, but who came up with these definitions? And why are their definitions correct? And why does everyone believe that what they're saying is correct? Why is having a God complex wrong? Why is being schizophrenic wrong? Why is it wrong? Who decides that? Who owns my mind? Who owns other people's minds and tells them what is right and wrong? Which is also why I believe that I'm God, because I believe a lot of the written stuff, a lot of the stuff on TV dictates how people should behave and tells people what's right and wrong. Nelson Mandela was right. No, he was a sellout. Nelson Mandela is wrong, was wrong. Who decides? Who tells you? Someone decides and tells you, and they infiltrate the systems to make sure that you agree with what they believe in. That was me. What does that mean? It means that I'm a factory reject. I went to school, I got good marks, I was a brilliant student. Went to varsity, got my degrees, went to work in banking, and then went to start my own businesses. With all of that conditioning, I did art, classical art, the Romantic era. I did classical music, I sang. I went to church, I've read the Bible. Like all the systems that are out there of indoctrination have been put through me and tested. But somehow they failed. And today, I want to create my own religion and my own culture and my own tribe and my own nation and live my own way. Which means they failed, but they succeeded with everyone else who's a sheep and a lamb and follows what they say. They failed with me, which means I'm a factory reject, which probably means there's something wrong with my brain. I am mentally fucked because I don't plug into the system. It doesn't work for me. I am the stone that the builder refused. Shout out to the Boondocks and Aaron McCruder. So that's me. There's something wrong with me. I've now come to accept that. So when I meet other human beings and I tell them my thoughts and they tell me you're crazy, I say, you are correct. You're mentally fucked up. Yes. According to definition, you are correct. You suffer from a God complex, delusions of grandeur. You're not well. According to what you've probably been taught, even as a psychologist, psychiatrist, you are 100% correct. The difference is that the things you believe about me, I believe are true and they are correct and they are right for me. and for the people that I care about. Now, back to regular programming and homosexuals. We are biologically built in a certain way, So, if you are built to be a man that's meant to be attracted to a woman, and you find yourself attracted to other men, it means there's a malfunction somewhere. It means there's something psychologically and hormonally that's fucked up. And it happens. You look at albinos who have, I think, a deficiency of melanin. Albinos have a malfunction. That's why they are classified as disabled and can collect a disability grant from the government departments. Someone who's born a midget has got a malfunction. They were born shorter than they were supposed to be. Unfortunately, if you're born taller than you're supposed to be, you're not called disabled and you can't earn a grant. So I feel sorry for really tall people. But really short people can do that. If you're born with maybe 6 fingers, 6 toes, if you're born with some kind of a limp, that means there's a malfunction because there's a perfect physical human that has been created out there that we know. And there's something that's kind of offish about you and about the way that you're designed. And you can be called disabled because you don't fit into that mold and you can earn a grant. But the good thing is that in the society we live in today, that is fine. My albino friend is still my friend. My midget friend is still my friend. And we treat them like normal human beings. Forgot this guy's name, a brilliant actor from Game of Thrones, short midget. I think midget is apparently like a derogatory term. Dwarf, I don't know if dwarfism is what it's called or if there's another politically correct term. Brilliant actor, brilliant on Game of Thrones. He's been in a couple of other movies as well. He's in Avengers Infinity War. He makes the axe that Thor needs. He's an elf, I think, or something that makes the axe. So that's fine. Those type of disabled people we're fine with. In the same breath, there are kids that are deemed slow because there's a psychological or there's a biological expectation of how kids should progress academically. Kid could be brilliant at soccer, they could be brilliant at singing and dancing, but if they struggle with reading a book, memorizing information, regurgitating it on a piece of paper, which is how we measure academic intelligence, sadly, there's something wrong with that child. They're slow, they need extra teachers, they must go for therapy, they must get Ritalin, they must go to the remedial class, whatever the case may be, because there's supposedly something wrong with them. We say those kids are fine. There's something wrong with them, but we're trying to kind of help them and to sort them out. It knocks their self-confidence, but who the fuck cares? Because we're all trying to become these perfect humans that have been forced onto us by the system. So there's something wrong with homosexuals, and some people get very upset and they feel like they should be killed because there's something wrong with them. Some people are very comfortable. No, this is normal. Allow gay people to be. Let's have a gay parade, and whatever the case may be. Pride, great gay pride, for example. And it's good because, again, I believe it's a mental illness, it's a mental disability, and it's good that so many, it's good that so many of these mentally disabled people are coming together and say, hey, leave us alone. We like to have sex with each other. So, but it's a beautiful thing, Again, they factory rejects like me. There's something wrong like me. I'm lucky. I want to have sex with a woman. So I get to tick a certain box. Penal's crazy. He says whatever, but at least he's not gay. The next guy is Christian, loves God, loves Jesus, does well academically, good person in society, does charity work, does a good job, but just wants to sleep with the same sex. No, kill him. He's rubbish. He's going to contaminate our kids. What's happening is obviously a lot of gay people, because they're strong, because they're smart, because they are capable, they are infiltrating the systems and making sure that a lot of the cartoons you watch, a lot of the movies you watch, a lot of other spaces are sending out this gay message of this is normal. And a lot of homophobic people are very upset that you guys are priming our kids to embrace homosexuality to a point where they probably are getting inquisitive and they want to experiment. Dad, I think I want to kiss a boy because maybe I'm gay. I don't know. And it upsets homophobic people, understandably so. As much as I understand homosexuality and I support pro-homosexual people and the activists and the rainbow and alphabet crew, I understand what they're fighting for. They've been killed and persecuted and made to feel less than because of who they truly are. It's rubbish and they must fight for what they stand for. But now we have a new dynamic. where homophobic people are being oppressed. You're not allowed to say that you're homophobic. Facebook will fucking ban you. You will be cancelled. They will inform your employer. Israel Folau, who played for the Australian rugby team, the Wallabies, lost his job. He couldn't play for the Wallabies. He couldn't play, I think he played for the Waratahs. He was cancelled because he quoted biblical verses stating that homosexuality is wrong. And people lost their shit, including Christians. Guys, if you've read the Bible, if you understand the Bible and you came to be a Christian, getting crazy drunk sends you straight to hell. Being homosexual sends you straight to hell. Getting divorced sends you straight to hell. And there's a couple of other things, a couple of other sins that can send you straight to hell. And Israel Folau was saying, the guys who are drinking a lot must stop. The guys who are gay must stop. The guys who are doing whatever must stop. Otherwise, they will go to hell. And he was cancelled for quoting the Bible. Tragic. But it came out that one of the sponsors of the Australian rugby team, I think, is a gay person or is part of the gay community. And they were very upset and they made sure that this guy was cancelled. You are not allowed to be homophobic. You are not allowed to say, no, I don't believe in gay people. I don't like them. It's wrong. You're not allowed to go out and say, I think albinos are wrong and should be killed. You're not allowed. If you're not hurting someone else physically, if you're not hurting someone else with your words, meaning, fuck gays, they must go die, and you're just like, look, gays must do their thing, I'm not interested, I believe it's wrong. You're not allowed to say that. And this includes all our politicians. And mind you, I know some of these people, I know how they feel about homosexuality and all these other different ways of being. But they're not allowed to say it because they will be cancelled. If it's not by their own political parties, it will be by the media. If it's not by the media, it's going to be about by the global community out there. So they say whatever you guys want to hear because they want to be politically correct. The Germans under the Nazis who killed the Jews, gas chambers, Holocaust. Those guys were being obedient citizens. They were being led by Adolf Hitler, who said, kill these guys. And they said, look, I do not want to be politically incorrect. I don't want to be on the wrong side of the law. So I'll follow and do what needs to be done. Obedient. Same with the Zulu army that Ushaga had. The guys were being obedient. There's a lot of homophobic leaders and people out there who are being obedient and keeping quiet. Tomorrow when the world is, everyone's gay and we're not making babies anymore, they will then come up and there'll be a new, because human beings are like that. We're constantly fighting and finding and whatever. The bottom line is for me, and I think this helps me psychologically understand and wrap my head around this. Being homosexual means you're mentally and hormonally not okay. But I love that about you because it's who you are and you must embrace it. And I've said before, if any of my kids are gay, it's their life. It's not my life. But I will ask of them, please, I know you're gay. I know you have a penis and you like another penis. I know that. You've told me, I've tried to test, I've tried to question, and it's become true that you, my child, have some kind of deficiency. Same way I could have a child that's an albino. Same way I could have a child that's a midget. Same way I could have a child that's academically slow. You are not what's deemed normal in the world. I understand and I love you still the same. As long as you're not hurting others and you're not a rubbish child, I'm fine with you. But please, can I have grandchildren? Go sleep with a woman to procreate or donate your sperm, because there's a chance that your kids will not have the same mental deficiency that you have. It happens. I can be an albino and give birth to a normal child. I can be a midget and give birth to a normal child. There's that show, I think on I don't know if it's E Network or one of these channels on DSTV, of these little people, and they have a midget child and they have a normal child. So in the same breath, you might be gay. Doesn't necessarily mean your kids will be gay. And it doesn't mean that if your kids are not gay, there's something wrong with them. And it doesn't mean you need to tell your kids, be gay or don't be gay like dad. Dad was wrong. No. Be yourself. Understand that we are creating alternative ways of being and we're creating new, perfect human being dynamics in the world. Look at them, question them, look within yourself and find out what makes sense to you and what makes you truly happy and truly healthy and makes you a positive force upon the world. That's who you are and who you're meant to be, and don't let other people crush you. That's the beauty of the world we live in. But understand that according to the prescriptions and the definitions and the systems we live in today, you are deemed fucked up. It's fine. I'm fucked up. But it's who I am, and luckily I've got a community of other fucked up people, and we're happy, and we're winning. And I hope that wherever you are with your community, you're happy, and you're winning. Those are my thoughts around homosexuality. I've got a whole lot more. I'll probably make another video at some point, but I just wanted to say that I believe that homosexuals are mentally not okay, and I wish more homophobic people could understand that so that they can be more sensitive to this dynamic. A homosexual person is like an albino, is like a midget, is like a child that's slow at school. Be sensitive to their differences. If they mac on you, they are not trying to disrespect you. It's because of who they are. Politely tell them, unfortunately, I'm not gay and I'm not into gay dudes, but maybe I can find you someone who's like you and you can be with them. And that's fine. It's the world we live in today, and we need to embrace it, and we need to be honest, because that's how we're going to build together and win together as a nation, as a world, as a people. Love you guys very much, and I hope that you'll have a really great day. Cheers.